What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. The boots are finally here. The Mizuno Morelia Neo 3 Betas in two different colorways because I got two different sizes to give you guys the best Mizuno Morelia Neo 3 Beta review on the entire internet. Let's hop into it. So as you guys know, it has been a very long time in the making. This video has been something that's been very challenging for me because I haven't actually been able to get these boots into the office because I can't find them anywhere. I finally found two pairs on ProDirect, and I wanted to get a 9 and a 9.5 because I've heard, depending on the sizing, look at a half size larger, maybe a half size smaller as well. So I got the 9 and a 9.5. One of my friends here in Seattle actually really wanted a pair, and he and I wear the same size, so shout out to Dauda, because he's actually going to take one of the pairs that fits him best, and then I'll just give back the other pair unless it fits really well, and then in that case I'll play with it. But without further ado, guys, let's hop into it. So I've got two different colorways, as I said. So I've got the black and maroon color, as you can see from this one right there, and then I also have the brand new white with the almost cyan blue. So the cyan blue ones are in the US 9. The black and maroon ones, which I think are gorgeous looking, at least in pictures online, are in the 9.5. Made in Japan model, as always, comes in this black box, so it's very straightforward. You guys know I've reviewed several Mizuno boots before. They come all in that same, all the Made in Japan models come in this same box. I really like the look of this box, actually. I know that it's kind of an oversight for most boot companies, but in this case, they do the box really well. Maybe they should put that type of effort into the string bags because their string bags are not very good. So Mizuno, if you're watching this, do more for your string bags, especially at a $320 price point. Okay, here we go. We're gonna open the black ones first, and then I'll get into the blue ones as well. So you get two unboxings in one video. How cool is that? Subscribe to the channel just for that, okay? So you open it up, and again, you've got this string bag, which really is, it probably costs 50 cents to make. I mean, it's really kind of poor quality. Get that out of the way. And then here we go. So we'll undo this. Oh my goodness, these are unbelievable. Wow, look at that. Those are so sick looking. I reckon this is one of the coolest colorways on the market right now. Okay, so black with the maroon red accents. In the Running Bird logo, you've got red accents in this little back part here in the heel counter, and then some red accents on the bottom there. So you guys will see lots of B-roll of the boots. So I'll get these out of the box really quick. So we'll get these out, and then we'll explore these for just a minute, and then I'll unbox the blue ones in just a little bit. So these, as per usual, Mizuno quality, just absolutely incredible. There is a amazing quality K-leather upper. Something to notice about this boot as opposed to the Morelia DNAs, which is the Morelia 2s, so the classic leather upper with the Morelia Neo Beta sole plate. So the Morelia DNAs actually have the same sole plate that these do, but of course, because this is the Neo 3 Betas, this has a synthetic midfoot and heel counter as well. So only leather, as you can see, from here all the way around. So it's actually not a ton of leather, but it does give you that forefoot area, so you get really nice touch on the ball. Now this leather is like buttery soft. I mean, it is like so nice. The matte finish is really lovely. And then as far as the construction of the midfoot goes, it is a synthetic material. You've got knit through this mid where the lacing system is. So now you've got the Neo 2 Betas didn't have this, or excuse me, maybe the Neo 2s did. Neo 2s did not. I actually had a pair of Neo 2s, and the Neo 3s don't. The Beta version, though, does have this knit material through the lacing system, which I think is a nice touch, especially when you're looking for a really consolidated, good fit on the ball. I think that's, and on your foot as well. I think that's something to notice. If you do notice, they are pretty thin looking, right? So once I try them on, I'll kind of tell you guys how they fit for wide fitting feet, especially in this area right here where I'm really wide. If you do have a narrow fitting shoe and you do fit in something like a Vapor, my guess is these are gonna be just a leather version of that, but a better build quality and with conical studs, which is a huge thing and which I really enjoy because conical studs are great on all different grass surfaces. So a couple things about the Mizuno Morelia Neo 3 betas. It's the made in Japan version basically is a 24-hour lasting period, which basically means that they put it together. It's like 24 hour, it sits for 24 hours maybe on the boot last. So it's really, really well put together. It's Mizuno's finest K leather that they put on the forefoot, which is something, so you've got a really good touch on the ball and offering really luxurious fit and feel. That was something, if you watched my Morelia DNA review, that was something that you would hear, is that the entire upper is so incredibly soft, and it's actually wild how good that leather is. I mean, yes, say the Tiempo Legend 9 is a good boot, is a good leather boot, but it doesn't even come close to the quality and softness of something like a made in Japan Mizuno boot. And I really wish that that's why the DNA is such a spectacular boot, because it's actually wider fitting, even though it's on a speed boot, sort of thinner last. But this is a really, really cool and interesting boot, even though it retails for $320. It's crazy expensive. So the reconstructed studs supposedly hold the ground better by dispensing the ramp between the stud top and the base. The construction will help to improve the grab on the ground. So that's just a little bit of factoid there. It's got the external heel counter on the outside, which is nice. I guess it really doesn't matter that much. I don't think anybody that I've ever talked to has cared whether it's an external or an internal heel counter. If you have a preference, you have a preference, but that's my thoughts anyway. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful colorway. I love the black. I'm such a sucker for black boots. I think they are so, so nice. And this is a really, really lovely looking pair of football boots. Let's unbox the blue ones and we'll get into a little more technical details as well. So we'll get these out of the way. Again, same setup. I'm just going to do this unboxing a little bit quicker just because you guys know what everything but the boot color looks like. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah, holy cow. I would swear right now, but I'm not going to. So let's get these out of the box really quick because these are a special looking pair of football boots, I tell you what. So here we go. So here are the blue ones. And the blue ones have an incredible color to them. I absolutely love, love, love this color blue. It's a lighter blue. It's got a little bit of turquoisey look to it. And then it's got red accents on the Running Bird logo and then red accents through the heel counter and then again through this. The red is different from the black ones. This is a much more kind of subdued but very classic fire truck red, so to speak, but just like a dimmed down version. And then they've got sort of a white and blue speckle through the knit material. So it looks like they've woven the blue color and the white together for that knit material through the lacing system, which is super cool. The sole plate on these boots, both in the Morelia DNA and then of course in the Morelia Neo line, is so good. I think this is one of the most spectacular sole plates on the market right now. I really like conical studs. Obviously, if you do have particular boots where the chevron studs are in certain locations, it's much more aggressive, or if you put them sideways, it's much more lateral stability focused, if that makes sense. But I really love the way that this sole plate fits and feels. I've trained in the Morelia DNA a couple times just on my own, and they feel really nice. That stud pattern is it's actually a lot more aggressive than you think it might be, especially given that it's conical studs. So that's something to keep in mind. In the heel, you've got this little tab part right here. So it does come down a little bit. Theoretically, you don't really need it there, but I imagine that they just put it there to kind of have a nice, kind of rounds out that whole look right here, right? So it comes up a little bit on your Achilles, but there's no structure to it, so it's not going to be that big of a deal, and you won't probably feel it. The insole is the Nano, I think it's called like Nano Grip or something like that. They have like a, oh, maybe not. Okay. Well, it's not anything special actually. So Morelia, it says Morelia Neo and made in Japan, which is kind of cool. And then it's actually put in the bottom here. No grip on the bottom, which is kind of strange. Interesting touch there, but that's okay. And to be fair, this has a lot of lockdown, I think, or these boots are supposed to have a lot of lockdown. So that's something to keep in mind as well. In the heel, you've got a really nice suede liner, and then there's a little bit of bump around, if you guys can see, there's a little bit of bump around the heel and the Achilles area that will hopefully provide a really nice locked-in sensation. That's something that both the Morelia 2s, the classic leather boots that I reviewed with the tongue, and then also the Morelia DNAs, which is the updated upper from the classic leather with obviously that speed frame, that speed boot sole plate. Those both did a fantastic job of locking in your heel and making it feel like you could lift off, like you didn't even have to wear grip socks and you would feel super locked in. Another thing that I really like about this sole plate is that you've got a ton of rigidity where these red strips are, and I don't actually know what the technology is called here, but it actually sticks out quite a bit. It's almost like it almost feels like like the backbone of the boot. And then as soon as you get right into that forefoot area, sort of right where your toes start, it actually provides a lot of snappiness, which is super nice. So I think that's a great touch. Again, this silo has been out for so long and they've made incremental improvements to each variation to essentially make the best quality speed boot on the market. It's going to last you the most time. It's going to be the highest build quality. It's going to be super, super comfortable out of the box. Obviously, you might need a little break-in time if you got a little bit wider feet in this synthetic area, but the toe box is so buttery soft, and that is something to keep in mind as well. So I'm very excited to try on these boots. I don't actually know which ones are going to fit. I imagine the 9 US is going to fit the best in the toe, so as far as length goes, which for me is the most important piece of that, because as soon as if the toe has extra room in it, that means I'm going to slide forward and slide backwards and sideways and stuff. I don't like that. Whereas this boot, I imagine there's going to be a little bit of extra toe space, which I'm sure will be great as far as width goes, but of course, a bigger boot, you're going to have a wider fit. So my guess is the blue is going to actually fit the best. The 9 US is going to fit the best, but I think they're probably going to be too thin for my feet, which is totally fine. No stress there, but they are a beautiful pair of football boots. I'm excited to see how they fit and feel on feet, and then we'll address whether or not I think they're worth the $320 US price point. Again, this is the Morelia Neo 3 betas made in Japan. Let's hop straight into the on-feet portion, guys. All right, guys, so I'm in the inside, I'm in my basement because it is pouring rain outside and I do want to film this so I can get it out to you guys quick. So I've got the 9 US in my right hand, that'll go on my right foot, and then of course the 9.5 on my left. So you guys will see lots of close-ups, so don't worry about that. You'll see tons of close-up footage of how they actually fit and feel on feet, but I wanted you guys to get my facial reaction when I actually try these on because I haven't ever tried these before. I'm not wearing grip socks right now. I am wearing like Nike soccer socks, the half calf ones. They are the thinnest ones I have, which is usually what I do boot reviews in, simply because I don't know if a boot's going to be extra tight or not, and especially with the surgery that I've had, long story short, it just is not worth it for me. So I do the thin sock just to make sure I can slide right in. Okay, so 9.5 first. Actually, let's go 9 first, true to size, okay? Here we go. So true to size, Morelia Neo 3 betas. Oh, dude. Oh, I really wish these fit how... Oh my gosh, they are so comfortable. Like, they're probably too thin, but these fit perfectly right at the end of the toe. Let's get the 9.5 on as well. Okay, so slip right in. Yep, totally as I predicted. And I'll show you guys this on the close-up shot, but there's a ton of extra material that pops up kind of on the outside of my ankle, very similar to the Puma Ultra 1.1 and 1.2. Guys, oh man, these feel so good though. Like genuinely, these are so comfortable. I'm gonna tie the 9.5 tight, see if I can't get it to kind of mold to the shape of the foot a little bit more. Yeah, I'd have to really yank that. So that's one thing that I do kind of think is a reason why I wouldn't wear these, is because they're built for much thinner foot types where you wouldn't have space and basically a finger that you could put in the outside of that ankle. But because in the midfoot I've got a really wide foot, it basically causes the boot to stretch so that there's extra material that's not sitting flush to the outside of your foot and your ankle. So that's something to think about. Again, these are not boots that are probably going to be suited for super wide feet. They will fit, I'd say, average to, as thin as you want to go, you could wear these, but they're definitely not meant for super wide feet, even though they are super comfortable. So there they are on feet. And again, once you see the close-up shots, you'll really understand what I mean by the fact that they're not really built for super wide-footed players like me. When I stand like this, there's a ton of extra material that's like flopping out where the synthetic is. Obviously, the leather fits super nice, super snug in that forefoot area, but in the midfoot, it is really struggling to, even with the knit material in the laces, it's really struggling to sit flush with my foot, which is something that I care about a lot. Some of you might not, some of you might not care, but I definitely do. So these are not boots that I will be wearing, unfortunately. My friend Dauda is going to be getting, he'll probably get the blue ones, so he'll probably buy the blue ones from me. And that's the reason I got them in the first place, was because he really wanted a pair. And so I said, hey, I'll review them and then you can have them. So shout out. And yeah, guys, but these are awesome, awesome, awesome speed boots. I'd say if I were to have a thin foot and I were to pick from all of the speed boots, I'd honestly probably go with these over even a Speed Flow. They're definitely completely different, right? So carbon fiber sole plate versus like a plastic or like a TPU tight stud pattern and stuff. And obviously leather versus synthetic. But if you're looking for a leather football boot that is super light and super fast, this is the boot to get, because you get the best of both worlds. You've got an awesome, really structured synthetic in the midfoot to keep you, from doing some slip around stuff in the midfoot of the boot, but you also have a really super comfortable forefoot that allows you a great touch on the ball, lots of really good feeling in your toes. You can really like wiggle your toes and get that going. And yeah, I mean, guys, these are awesome, 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 awesome football boots. Cannot recommend. Are they worth $320? Yes. I think you pay for what you get. They are a little bit more expensive than I'd like them to be, but at the same time, it is what it is, and that's just what you pay for when you get a made in Japan Mizuno model, regardless of whether it's this or a Rebula Cup or one of the other, like the Mizuno DNAs, right? Those are also super expensive as well. So that about wraps up the review of the Mizuno Morelia 3 Beta made in Japans. And I'm very excited to have tried these on finally and get my feet in them. Definitely not a boot that I will be wearing because my feet are much too wide, but I imagine that for someone with an average size foot or thinner, on the thinner end, anything from average to super thin, you will feel amazing in these boots. And these will be, I can guarantee you, one of the best purchases you make for yourself and your play, because they're awesome. You've got really nice, just a tiny bit of arch support, which feels really nice. And the stud pattern is really hard to beat. I love the conical studs, and I love the way that the heel locks you in all around. I would rate these boots, even though I cannot actually wear these in a training session or a game because they're genuinely too thin for my feet. These are a 9 out of 10 football boot for the majority of people who can fit in these. If you can fit in these, 9 out of 10, not even a question. The only thing that makes them not a 10 is because they don't fit me, so that's a selfish rating, but you guys know that already. So that's it for the video, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. If you got value from this, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I post tons of boot reviews, lots of game analysis, and of course, day in the life of a pro. So we are on our way. By the time you see this video, I I will probably be on trial. So I have trials coming up. That's why it's going to be a lot of boot reviews and a lot of other types of content instead of day in the life, because I'm filming these all before the trials so I can really focus on the trials and focus on communicating with OPSM and doing all my things there. But you guys will find out very soon where that is and where hopefully I'll be getting signed. So stay tuned, guys. As always, be awesome, take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.